completely unthinkable careers are going to emerge. And when you and like Kate here says, the shrimp is treated right? Fish farming as it currently stands is barbaric and bad for you. So these are the other sorts of problems that can be resolved this way. Instead of just being like, hey, fish farmers, you should be better. You could be like, well, I'm going to be a fish farmer. The cost of the barrier to entry to get into fish farming is going to be drastically reduced. So you get lots of other people who can become fish farmers, and they can do it ethically and keep their costs reduced. And local grocery stores can start to buy their goods from the local community instead of having to outsource other places. What else does this do? This decentralizes the economy. Keeps it less consolidated and funneled through specific avenues where if that avenue breaks, everything else downstream breaks. So you're going to get an increased global connectivity, but also an increased local stability or local robustness.
The way I say it, if you're an expert in something and there's a revolutionary breakthrough, you're no longer the expert in it. Yeah. So there's a disincentive for doing that. Could it be regulatory bloat? Could it be, legal bloat? Could it be just the paperwork that's developed over time?
It is. I think it's all of the above. So some things that we talk about in the report are around research burdens. So I think there was a very well-known study that the National Academies put out a few years ago that essentially said something like 45% of the time that a researcher spends is to do the administrative work associated with their grant. And that is one of the most depressing statistics I can think of. These scientists are the crown jewels of our country. We want them to be doing their work 100% of the time.
Same thing in healthcare.
Yes.
Physicians are spending all their time filling out paperwork.
Yeah. And I think that...
And this is a great way to sell this too. Like scientists, you're so esteemed. We love our scientists, don't we? You guys are just so brilliant. We want you doing science. We don't want you being bureaucrats. We don't want you to be spending all of your time focused on the paperwork, and then like that whole bureaucratic apparatus becomes like a thing that you're tied into and you're incentivized to maintain your station within. Let's just do away with all of that, and you can focus on your science.
I think that the regulatory stuff does kind of matter too. And I think one example that's very close to my heart and has been one of my pet projects for a long time is how do we bring back supersonic flight to America?
Yes.
And an example of that is kind of a regulatory issue where in the US, there has essentially been a speed limit for flights over land. So essentially there was, if you're flying over Mach 1, it's just not allowed anymore.
Because of the sonic boom and concerns, right?
And the reality is, I think research has shown, and I think Boom, Supersonic, a company, showed that they're able to fly over Mach 1 without creating a sonic boom. So our regulations, the way it stands, disincentivize them from ever trying to fly over Mach 1 because they'll never be able to. So again, due to the president and executive order that he signed, we are now changing that rule to create a noise limit rather than a speed limit.
Yeah,
if you can keep it under Mach 1, if you can keep it quiet, fly. Just fly.
I love that. I mean, the breakthrough, the policy changes on both supersonic flight and on eVTOLs. Aviation industry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So all this stuff about aviation. Thank you for subscribing. Georgie Castriotti. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you there. Jonathan Hemingway said, once everyone starts producing everything all at once, there is no more Walmarts. We all become our own Walmarts. Right. So as you can see this coming down the line, obviously any forward-thinking person with a stake in Walmart is going to either want this to not happen, or they're going to want it to happen as slowly as possible so they can try to get ahead of it or minimize the damage it's going to do to them. Which then might tell you why there is so much fear porn surrounding this whole notion of AI. And so you get the people who are like, they see themselves as like, oh, I'm the little guy. I'm the revolutionary speaking truth to power. No data centers. Data centers are tyranny. The absolute definition of useful idiots.
The policy changes on both supersonic flight and on eVTOLs. The aviation industry had been stuck for 50 years. And so unleashing in that way. One of the second challenges you note here is young talent waiting too long before they're given a chance to implement their bold ideas.
The thing with aviation is just like, there's no reason why we shouldn't already have mass drone delivery. And think of the downstream impacts on this. If suddenly you get supersonic flight becomes more normalized, so you can travel faster around the country. If deliveries are made more and more via drone, you have fewer vehicles on the road. So the vehicles that are on the road can be dedicated towards other things. This has an impact on infrastructure, like the degradation of highways, on fuel costs, on you start running down the downstream effects of starting to tweak some of these things. They compound on themselves really, really quickly.
Our funding, publishing, and credit system was built for a world of human-paced discovery, and I could not agree with you more.
Yeah. The challenge I think a lot of young people face is they're kind of stuck in this zone of the way science was done long time ago, before the internet even existed in some ways. And everyone's kind of stuck through this process of needing to do research and then trying to get the research published in a journal. And then you have to do that a number of times before you can get tenure and so on. And I think this structure tends to, I think, not be the way that is conducive to discovery. It's the way to like how you succeed in sort of an academic
structured system, right?
Yeah. And if that, and I think there's huge opportunities to kind of reform that. To me, I think NIH is always an example of this. And I think this is very bipartisan. I think the statistic I heard today, which was shocking, is that the median age of an intramural NIH scientist, so this is a scientist at NIH who's doing research in NIH, not getting a grant out, is 71.
Oh my God.
When I heard, I couldn't even believe it. That's crazy.
And the average age of a Nobel laureate's prize-winning work is in their mid-20s.
In their 20s, yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And I think we've created these systems where we're somehow okay with that. And then we look.
This is the to his credit, this is the sort of thing that Eric Weinstein has been banging on about for a long time. He coined the term. Which one is it? It's the egos, embedded growth obligations, where you have things like a law firm or tenure at a university, where the system is designed to perpetually expand, constantly be adding more and more and more. But eventually you have more lawyers than you know what to do with. And then you get partners who get entrenched in a place, and you have associates who are trying to make partner, but they can't. And you've got people starting to back up going through law school who are also trying to do this. So each of these industries gets smothered, or it gets like overfilled, and you get a backlog, and then it starts getting smothered and basically shut down, and they pull the ladder up behind them, and then scientific innovation just disappears because there's the structural incentive to do it is gone. It's become much riskier. The barrier to entry is so much higher, and then there's so much regulation that you can't do it on your own. And so we've just been stagnating. This is the Peter Thiel coming through in him. We've been innovating in the world of bits, but not in the world of atoms. So yes, Mr. Sue, air highways for drones and sky cops. Yes, this is a bullet that needs to be bitten. We need to figure out how it's going to work when you have flying vehicles that are not airplanes, that are operating at lower levels. And then there needs to be a way of managing all that traffic. But it's just like, oh, well, that's like dangerous and it's foreign and weird and stuff, so we're not going to do that at all.